Let's go. This is the Underground. World News Live. Back at you with another one. Good evening. Much love. Hope all is well. Let's get the mic check out the way. Good to see Hopkinson, Barbie, Deanne, Walk with God, Deborah, Bill, MC, Laura. Good to see everybody. Thank you, Paul, Gunther, Boomer, John Boy, Flip, Daily, Minx. Good to see everybody. Deanne, Beach Girls, Lisa Marie, Meat Puppet, Gio. Everybody out there, man. I hope all is well. Joe, Susie Q, Steve, Christ is King. You got that right. Lolo 77. Man. Yeah, of course, lots going down. Thank you, G. Much love, Kenny, Hoodie, Uncommon. I hope all is well, man. As I always say, thank you for those that share the stream. Get it out there in front of eyes that I can't reach. If you need to get anything to me, it's dabu7@yahoo.com. That's the email. Thank you, Lulu Bella, for the coffee. That is the best way to support the show. Thank you very much for that. Much love. God bless. Also at me in the chat at dabu77 if you want to get my attention. Yeah, Lowrider. Going to touch on, obviously, a lot of the war stuff on the verge of World War III, if not already in it. I really think that most people are just waiting for nukes to fly at some point before they'll get preconditioned. for that, but all the signs are already there technically that we're in World War. John Boy, member for 6 months to the underground. Thank you. Much love, survival. Um, Plenty to cover here tonight. We're going to dive right in. Beautiful shot, a beautiful lake that I wish I was on right now. Definitely going to wish that you were on it this week because it's going to be a scorcher. Let's just talk about that right at the gate. Weather check. It's about to get brutal, and I mean brutal for people that are not expecting this or thinking you got some time before you see extreme heat. Widespread highs in the 90s, some in the 100-degree readings in store from the Rockies all the way to the Mississippi Valley. I've looked at several different forecasts. I've seen several different models. They all kind of kick out the same thing. We're in store for a massive heat wave or a heat dome. Humidity levels are going to make it even worse. I mean, you know how when it gets humid, it just makes it that much worse. It could make a night that could be tolerable, a good evening. And thank you, Kim. It could make it miserable. The humidity can. It's that time of year. It is hot already. Etch is 106. Like, where are you at, Etch? Anybody ever drops any kind of info on like temperatures or gas prices, wherever you're at, let me know where you're at. 98 there in central NC. 90s Northeast Ohio starting Sunday. Yeah. 110 Las Vegas. Okay. Well, I expect the hotter temps out west, but we're going to see this throughout the Midwest, touching 100 up in the 90s. I know just in my neck of the woods, Appalachian Mountains, we're going to be just a few degrees away from 100, like 97 on one of the days. Thus far, that could change. Up or down. It looks like it's going to be up because this thing's going to be parked for like a week over top of us. I know some people out there have difficulty breathing in hot weather, things of that nature. Heads up, man. Yeah, 111 Vegas. Yeah, I know it always gets hot out there in Vegas. Again, when it's hot and the humidity is on top of it, it just makes it. That's what makes it like super painful. You can see the west though. Everything west of the Rockies kind of cleared out. In terms of the humidity levels, where it's been, but see here, they're expecting. Let's see. Well, you can see right there on the map. Across the board forecast highs. Even Detroit going to be hitting 98 on Monday. New York, 99 on Tuesday. Washington, D.C., 101 on Tuesday. So we're breaking 100. It's going to feel like every bit of 100 plus. Like I said, you factor in the humidity on top of some of the stuff. This is not good. It can get deadly. Definitely want to be checking on pets, the elderly, friends, family. Thank you, Boomer, for the coffee. Man, I like to put these heads up out there because, as I always say, weather is a weapon. Yep. 130 degrees in the back of the UPS truck, I bet. Just I want to see people stay safe. The more time goes by in this world, the more people pass away and die. And I find out the oddest ways. It's sometimes like way late. Just seems to me like people just dying left and right. And try to give the heads up here so people don't find themselves in a crazy situation. Yeah, it's sauna out there. So just a heads up, man. We're not even into it yet. We got the whole starting Sunday all the way through Friday. We're going to be baking. So just make plans, have plans, be aware. Things of that nature, man. I know down here in these mountains and these hollers, people be dipping in local swimming hole for sure. I'm sure the pools will be packed. Um, and just be vigilant out there, man. It's just head on a swivel. The time is ripe for something to happen. Whether it be them blowing up a car somewhere, running people over, shooting them up, taking down the grid somewhere, cyber attacks. I mean, it's anything. Like, it's just the window's open. All right, let me update here something on the impossible foods. All these people that invested in this because they saw Bill Gates doing it, and they're like, oh, we can't go wrong there. And they just threw the moral aspect of out the window. They're feeling it now. It looks like impossible foods. It's going downhill big time. People losing money on this, and it's because no one wants this ultra processed garbage meat that you don't even know what it is all the way. I don't trust none of it. I don't trust nothing. Anything that's got Bill Gates connected to it, especially, trust nothing. Lulubella, again, thank you. Much love. Thank you for the coffee. Look, I've always thought about things like this when I go to Arby's. It's a good one. I'm not saying that it's not what they say it is, but I just always looked at it like, I know roast beef is a real thing, but like, I don't know. I've seen inside some of them stores sometimes, and I've seen this stuff come in the packaging and then throw it up. I'm like, hold on, man. Like, this doesn't even seem right. Like, I'm going to gag just thinking about it. That's not what you should be thinking or doing when you're thinking food. Something's like not right there. Anyhow, I don't trust none of these places. I've done episode after episode covering the mystery meat out there. Like, you just don't know what they're serving up. Matter of fact, if anyone out there has a way or knows of a way to test meat, you have a place to send it to. That's what I'm looking for. A place to send it off to. Let me know. Dabu7@yahoo.com. I think I could take you up on that, because I think it deserves going around a couple of these different places. McDonald's, Wendy's, Arby's, all these places, and just getting a good old-fashioned test done. Right? If anybody knows of a place that can do that, if you work at a place that could do that, let me know, because I think that the results will be very interesting. Just never know. You never know out there. Pure bloods all day. Much love. Keep it going here. Off to the next one. Some Los Angeles business owners wanting to leave simply because of the riots, but they're saying they can't. And it's because they can't. A lot of people trapped. I mean, I think this goes for a lot of people everywhere. Like, you're stuck kind of like where you work, right? And then your work schedule. And that, for the most part, for a lot of people, it runs their lives. Anything that you're going to try to do to have a life, you have to fit in around that, right? Squeeze in. The rat race and the slave race, as I've always called it, it's a class of free slaves, because you're freely being a slave. It's like you've been tricked into doing it. And you're a kid, like, why do I gotta go to school? But then you get older and it's like, well, why do I gotta go to work? And it's like, well, it's just that way. Everybody has to go to work. And you're just told that. It's just that way. It's just that way. Everybody has to go to work. Everybody has to pay their taxes and all that. It's just that way, right? It's just that way that we're slaves. Freely. We're free slaves that get taxed on the money that we earn. And then we turn around and we get taxed on every single thing that we buy. I mean, we're double taxed, triple taxed, left and right. Again, it all falls back on the people running this place right now. And it's high level evil, very high level. And I can't help but think, what was it really like in the days of Noah? What was so bad when they wiped this place out? I know they had giants that were eating people back then. Like, what else was going on? I know Noah said that it got crazy. None of the people could get along and all that, but like, this place is getting pretty chaotic. America, land of the free, or the whore Babylon. I see it as the beast. And I was born in the belly of the beast. It's the military, the financial, strong arm, of the world. Some would say the best place to live and to be. And it may be compared to other places, but it's truly not free. Forefathers died for freedom. We don't have that all the way. Not all the way, it's for sure. But when I see people trying to escape LA, they can't. It just reminds me of this is the situation everywhere. Most people stuck again in the cycle. And as this one shows, don't even think about living in this state unless you make at least $300,000 a year. It's like, who makes that? Like, well, maybe some of you do out there. If you do, good for you. But not a lot of people do that I'm aware of. No, especially like as an individual. Well, to live in Massachusetts, you've got to have it or make at least that. That's pretty crazy. I knew that Boston carried a high price tag. Been there before in the past and this and that, and I just know it's New England, heart of New England. Very expensive, more expensive than a lot of other places people would think would be above it. But yeah, just again, man, Boston, super expensive. If you want to retire, though, the most expensive place you're going to find out there is Hawaii. And I attribute it to being out there in the middle of the ocean. Got to get everything shipped to you. All that. Yeah. All right, let's dive into the financial stuff. Trump likes to call people names instead of doing things. Like when it comes to Powell, he should fire him. He has the ability to do so. Say he doesn't, this and that, and then, well, I'll tell you the whole thing's rigged game, big establishment show. But he does have some sway. Instead of just calling him names, he could actually replace him if you wanted. But apparently Powell come out and he did nothing in terms of rates, cuts. Didn't make it any worse, but didn't make it any better. Just pretty much did nothing. And some of the markets didn't know how to respond to this. They were expecting something to go one way or another, so it just felt kind of flat. We'll play this trip here. This piece here. Just make note of the things he says about a lot of the people around him that he put into place. You're going to see a theme tonight of quite a few different people that he just doesn't care.
Doing well, and as a country, if the Fed would ever lower rates, would buy debt for a lot less. It's a shame. This guy, do you ever have a guy that's not a smart person and you're dealing with him and you have to deal? He's not a smart guy.
Get him out of there.
Inflation. I said, that's right. If there's inflation in 6 months or 9 months, you lower the rates or you raise the rates. You can do whatever you want, Brian, right? So let's say there's rampant inflation, which there's none. You know what there is? There's success. I got a call from Congress last night. Sir, there's a problem. I said, what is it? Money is pouring in. We don't know how to account for it. I said, check the tariffs. $88 billion came in from tariffs. No inflation. And it's going to get even more so. I know what I'm doing. So we have a stupid person, frankly, at the Fed. He probably won't cut today. Europe had 10 cuts, and we had none. And I guess he's a political guy. I don't know. He's a political guy who's not a smart person, but he's costing the country a fortune. So what I'm going to do is, he gets out in about 9 months. He gets fortunately terminated. Biden, I would have never reappointed him. Biden reappointed him. I don't know why that is, but I guess maybe he was a Democrat. I got great advice from Mnuchin on this one. Great advice. But he's done a poor job. So we have no inflation. We have only success. And I'd like to see interest rates get down. Now, Biden did a lot of very short-term debt. So we have short-term debt coming due. And because of this guy's rates, if he'd lowered a point, I'd pay about a point less. Then if he'd lowered 2 points, I'd pay about 2 points less. And that's for 10 years, 12 years, 15 years, 5 years. It's hundreds of billions. It's even trillions of dollars that we're going to lose because of this too late. I call him Too Late Powell because he's always too late. I mean, if you look at him, every time I did this, I was right 100%.
And do something about it, replace it.
Go to the Fed. Am I allowed to appoint myself, Doug? I don't know. Am I allowed to appoint myself at the Fed? I do a much better job than these people. So anyway, we should be 2 points lower. It'd be nice to be 2.5 points lower. We'd be saving $800 billion, $700 billion. That's a lot of money. Think of it for nothing, for absolutely nothing.
So Trump acts like his hands are tied here, and it just blows me away. Like, it's ridiculous, this whole game. It just is, man. And Chrissy from London, England, thank you for being a member of the Underground for the past 6 months. Much love. Firing. It's the same thing with all these other people. I keep saying the same thing. Like, you said they stole all this money. Like, send somebody to jail. Elon done came in here with Doge, told you that someone was stealing and spending trillions of dollars. They had everything down to the credit cards, and no one's gone to jail. Not a mention of it. That's how you shuffle the deck. It's how black magic is played out in front of the masses in real time, and they're getting away with it. The left-right paradigm works well for them. When people, even the people that are educated to it, we tell them about, they fall into this. There's people that know full well of skull and bones, of the whole left-right, the whole thing being played in control, but they still fall into the soap opera, what I call it, surrounding Trump. And again, a lot of people fell into MAGA because they didn't have anything in life to gravitate toward. And they knew this. They knew all this. It was very intelligent in terms of them rounding everybody up, corralling everybody, as I put it. Because people feel like they were part of something special with Trump. And when it was stacked up against Joe Biden, it was a safe bet. We'll give them that. You know what I'm saying? It was a safe bet. But instead of just saying, I voted for Trump, no, you become part of the MAGA cult. Again, someone that was never a part of anything, never maybe a part of a sports team or a club or anything, and it made them feel like for the first time they were a part of something and special in that aspect, and it even overtook the religious aspect of their life. That's why this man carries the name the Gentile Messiah, because of all that. But when I hear these things with Trump, it makes me, it's like, you've got the power to do stuff with this economy, especially with Powell. I just don't want to hear no more of it, but no cuts. It's better than raising stuff. But as he said, if they would have at least knocked it back 2.5 points, we'd be saving a lot of money. He does have a point there. And again, I rip Trump a lot because he deserves it. But when he does something that deserves props, we got to give it to him too. And he is a savvy, very good businessman. And he understands some of these aspects. Would Donald Trump have served the country better in Jerome Powell's position rather than a leader to get things done business wise? I mean, how can you be at this point, someone like Trump, and have your hands tied because like someone's completely got you stifled here? and you're acting like you can do nothing about it. Your hands are tied. That's just garbage. Um, I think he said something like he's got 9 months, um, or something. So we'll see when his time runs out. Trump definitely not going to reappoint him. We'll have somebody else in there. We'll see what kind of environment we're in. I'm expecting a huge event to happen this summer. At some point, it's definitely going to be on Trump's watch. They can push things back. We know it's definitely going to be on Trump's. If it doesn't happen this summer, it's like, okay, you got next summer to worry about. If it doesn't happen, then so you got the next summer. It's pretty bad because, dude, something's going to happen on this man's watch. He's even said it himself. That's why I'm so confident in it, that he was sent here to reset everything, and he hasn't done it yet. It hasn't happened yet. Even the World Economic Forum came out with the Great Reset, and it has not happened yet. It's not happened yet. It's because it's tied to a massive event, financial event. And I call it the Great Taking. It'll be where all the big dogs sell and they take everyone's 401ks, as I've said many times, and leave everybody holding the bag. And it'll be the new version of taking the farm, stealing everything that you got, basically your retirement, and all that. Then when you can't pay the tax on the farm, they're going to come in and take that. See how that works? So they try to do everything that they can. Man, this place is such a... I remember Elon said something like property tax, should be gone, abolished. It's like, okay, you guys said this. He even said, IRS abolished. And if he's going to throw these tariffs out there, well, what's up? What's good? Like, come through with what you said. But everyone is starting to see through Trump in this war stuff. A lot of the people that voted for him under the belief of no wars and all this, I told you they had a seeded into the minds of the masses determination on where this is going. And I told you. Iran. Why? Because right when they pulled this stuff off, the ear piercing event and all this stuff, they were out of nowhere citing Iran with no proof, no evidence. They quickly jumped the gun, too fast in my pick. It caught my attention. And I raised the eyebrow. I'm like, hold on, what? And then I heard it again. And I'm hauled up. Nah. You guys are already trying to spin this way toward Iran. And I just knew, I was like, if Trump gets in there, then definitely. Remember, he ordered the strike. Was it Soleimani? Their general, the Iranian general, Trump did that. He ordered that. And they want payback. He did come out and wave off the assassination call on Khomeini here recently. This, and I'm not even into that stuff yet. I'm just getting into them. Let me keep pushing here. Get through the economic stuff. I told you about silver. But they're admitting the silver bull may finally be here. And why you should pay attention to it finally being here is because it can outperform gold in terms of numbers. And it should. Because gold has surged higher. It's broke loose. It's gone from down to 1800s all the way up to 34, coming up on 4 or wherever it's at. Silver's been stuck at $35, $36 this whole time. It's had a lid on it. So it's going to break loose. And when it does, it should run all the way up to around 100. My prediction is once it hits 100, if it gets there, it'll have pullbacks along the way. Everything does. But once it hits 100, it's going to do something psychologically. Certain stocks, coins, assets, they do something crazy when you hit certain thresholds. It's like a psychological thing. It just is. And if certain things can hold above a certain number, in the masses' minds, it's bullish or it's positive. If it falls below it, even just by the slightest bit, it's bearish and it's coming down and all that. But gold, silver, I've been saying it for a long time. They're on a tear. I'm very curious to know what is inside the vault at Fort Knox. I think everybody is. I don't know if we're ever going to get the answer. Um, it's all about what these people inside the room with the White House correspondent lady, um, whatever they ask her, and all that is predetermined. It's all scripted, and all that. So to even get the question into the lineup, it's like this whole thing's staged. Everything. But again, we deserve to know. And even Trump, when they always try to make it look like it's nonchalant all the time, but they wear it out. It happens all the time. Like, oh, he's just walking out of the White House, heading toward the helicopter, and like, oh, Mr. President, Mr. President, you know, like yelling across the lawn to get his attention. He stops to take a couple questions. Like they do it all the time and have. It's not like some nonchalant thing. It's like a part of the staged production at this point. With the chopper blade still spinning, you can barely hear what he's saying, but they do it that way anyway, right? Someone could get a question in then, right? But again, it's all scripted, it's all staged. Every single person standing there within speaking distance of that man. It's all scripted. Lee, thank you. John 1:10 through 13. Much love, God bless. So, again, if you're out there, you come across any silver, anything, even platinum, copper, all that, I get it. I get it. And hold on to it. It's all going up. It's been going up. Now, gold in the dollar. There's a chart here that basically shows that everyone is shorting the dollar. Now, Trump likes this. He wants a weak dollar. He said it's good for the business and everything he's doing. But too much it could be the straw that breaks the camel's back. Like something's going to give here. Obviously, Powell's not budging. The rates and all that stuff, nothing's giving there. The other countries are continuing to dump. It's what's called de-dollarization happening en masse. It's been happening. It's just been accelerating, especially with Russia and China. The more war kicks off, the more they're dumping our bonds, and all that goes out the window. It used to be, a decade or more ago, they would be buying our debt and things like that, and it's all being dumped now. Again, the gold is key. China has just record amounts of it. That's just what we know on paper. And just like the United States, you would suspect that they've got more hidden in their black budget than anything, right? But if we can't even get a true accounting for what's going on with Fort Knox, I don't even know what to say at that point. Like, they can pull anything, right? Now, surely, if it was empty, they'd have done came out and they would have said it by now. Surely. Somebody's peeked in that vault. Somebody's looked in there. Someone, somehow, somebody has looked. And like, they know that gold's in there. Or alarm bells be going off. Like, surely. Okay? Some say they've been restocking it. Or whatever. There could be all kinds of different things. A lot of speculation. But the last that was officially put out is that it's being audited, and that it could take up to a year for it to be audited. So it's like, sit back, grab the popcorn. Like, who knows what's going to happen? Who knows? Anything can happen in that year. The whole thing could come down. I don't trust none of it. But One thing's for certain, gold's on a tear and it's going to keep on going up. Now, when it comes to things like the war with Iran and Israel, they're big things because they could lead to World War III. They affect the markets differently. Okay. Stocks could go one way, precious metals could go another. Um, when you hear these crazy conflicts, gold now just stays on a tear. It gets stronger. Look, it's like going parabolic compared to what it's done in years past. Like it's made some good gains, but like now it's what you would start to say it's going into parabolic mode. Um, when it does this, man, it can run super high, super quick. I think it could run all the way up to like 10,000 or something and just have a slight pullback and then giddy up. It keeps going. Like, I don't see what stops gold. It just naturally being what it is over time is just going to continue to gather more value. It's just the way that the game goes. The dollar, on the other hand, is going the opposite way. You can see right here, June 2025. This is the most underweight that the US dollar has been in 25 years. Well, 20 years. 20 years. So a couple decades, man. And that goes deeper. That goes further than the 08 situation crisis. Yeah, the gold is all sucked up by the international cartels and all them, but it seems they're going to use it to try to back some stuff. Now, here's an update. Senate, they pass the Genius stablecoin bill. That's right, they passed it. It's through. I told you before how the House passed it. Now they voted on this amended version of the bill. Tuesday vote of 68-30, a majority of the U.S. Senate chose to pass the Genius Act roughly 6 weeks after this was introduced. The bill's companion act, the Stable Act, may be considered in the House of Representatives next. With this bill, the is one step closer to becoming the global leader in crypto, they say. And what this does is it pegs our dollar, which is about to become useless, right? Because it has no value and all this at all. A way to save it in the end is to peg it to these stable coins. And what they're ensuring, the U.S. government's coming in, striking up deals, and just probably just a light threat to all these places. Every single place that has a stable coin, you back it with U.S. dollars, we're good. And most of these guys are going to agree, they're going to do it. No problems. And they get what they want. They get every single stable coin backed by the US dollar instead of the Russian ruble, instead of the renminbi, instead of the shekel, instead of all these different things. It keeps the US dollar in a dominant position because this industry going forward, they expect the stable coin to be the new dollar, so to speak. It's going to be the digital version. We've known this, but it's got to be backed by something. Okay, especially when it comes to those things like Tether and all of them, they have to have real world assets that can be audited and show proof that they've got all these things to back their coin, to say that they've got $1 billion worth of backing behind Tether or whatever it is. A lot of people are they're lacking in understanding what's going on here, and they should catch up if possible, because a transition is about to happen. And The way that they're going to do it is so slick that most people are not going to realize what even happened. You already have people out there saying, "Well, everything's already digital." Well, no, it's not. Not blockchain digital. And see, this is the trick. Everyone out there just thinks, "I already got a credit card. Everything's digital. Make everything's already." They just assume these things, and the government's going to come along, and I'm telling you, all they got to do is do a switcheroo. Whether they hold it hostage or not, they could just mandate it. They come out and say, "Okay, everybody's got to use this new wallet. This every bank has got to switch over to this new way to protect everybody." And it's in a new account that is a digital dollar. It's digitizing it. So you got $4,000 in your account. Well, now you got 4,000 USDT in your account, is what they're going to say. And it spends the same. It's accepted at the gas station. It's accepted everywhere because everyone will be ordered to accept it. It would be no different than anything else. And it'd be very easy for them to do. It's all set up. It's already in place. They just need an event to make this happen. Some of us that know all this and see all this just know it's only a matter of time. And when you see this, the genius whole thing passing, it's like, okay, everything's set up. Everything is in motion. All the ducks are in a row now. They just need the event. Like all the laws, everything's on the books for the laws and everything. It's like, come on, people, snap out of it. Wake up. Did you see what they're doing right in front of your face? Most of the audience will just be like, genius, Bill. They'll hear what I say. They won't look into it no further. It's done. We're in bad shape in where we are with this country. I don't know what the answer is. Besides breaking the spell of black magic, you've got to start there. You got to get the people to see the real enemy, and if they think that the enemy is their savior, oh man. So look at all the things that they're doing. Putting the AI hidden inside the big beautiful bill, which is still a big huge battle over right now. They haven't got their way. They haven't got it signed right on in like they wanted, like Trump wanted. It didn't. There's still a battle being put up over it. We better hope and pray that the big beautiful bill does not get passed in its current form. At least the AI gets stripped out of it. But I'm going to tell you now that I'm not hearing any of the senators speak a word about the AI. They deflect on everything else about the deficit number, about this, that, bunch of garbage. Not one saying a single word. Like they don't have a concern about it. They don't care about it. They've been ordered not to even say anything, is what it seems like. To keep it like out of sight, out of mind. Because if they say one word about AI in one clip, that's gonna, 50,000, 60,000 people watching their TV and be like, well, what is that? They're gonna start asking questions. So they're not stupid. Okay, and I see what they're doing because I'm not stupid. I see how they operate. So they are trying to be as slick as can be. The only time the senators are like even bringing up this bill is like when it's advantageous to them. Like when there were rioters in the streets, all of a sudden they were all like copy and pasting on X the same thing, like sign the big beautiful bill, sign the big beautiful bill. It's like, why? And like, you'll have money for more troops in the streets. It's like, they've got enough of that. They got enough of whatever they need to thump heads out there. That's garbage. Like, you're just using this now as an excuse, and I can see it, to get this rammed through. They're doing anything that they possibly can to try to get this through. They've pulled other things out. They're making amendments, but again, not a word I'm hearing anywhere about the AI. People need to keep on the pressure, man. But this here says that only Bitcoin and gold can stop the governments from destroying the currency. Now, let me just tell you the thinking behind this. Gold, I don't think I even have to explain. It's been the currency, the base currency for centuries, for eons, it seems, going back as far as we know. Gold connected to money, or being the money, gold and silver, just flat out, it being the money itself. Well, Bitcoin is man-made, and it's like what they call the digital gold. And They're trying to sell this whole thing as one big package to the gullible that don't know any better. But we know that Bitcoin was made by the NSA. It was made on a hash. It's created on a hash and built on top of the hash. The whole thing. And that hash was made by the NSA. They are Satoshi. There's no other ifs, ands, or buts about it. It's very quite clear. And when you see that the enemy is allowing this into everything, there's crypto shows, they allow everyone to invest in it, you know that they control it. They wouldn't dare let the Chinese have that much influence. Come on. And no one else. I mean, look what they did to Gaddafi, just for mentioning it. And going to bring up a different monetary system outside of their control. It's all in their control. So they're pushing it full scale. This is why you can even in your 401k, in grayscale, and whatever else, invest in Bitcoin and all this other stuff. And people have been seeing good gains from it here recently, I'm sure. But I'm telling you, they're fattening the hog before the taking. It would be the smartest thing to do. If you're a bad guy and you're planning on robbing, or you're not even robbing, you're just selling. So they're not doing nothing criminal, to be honest with you. They're just all going to sell at the same time. And it wipes everything out. And they get exuberant rich. It'd be the biggest transfer of wealth in history. And we're going to be on the wrong end of the stick. It's because that's how it was with the last time around, and caused the Great Depression. This is going to be the Greater Depression on the other end of this. Some of you that live through this and you live to see it, you remember. And John, thank you for the coffees. Much love. I appreciate that. But look, Bitcoin is a mechanism to trade or make money in. That's fine. If you can become a pro, buying dips and selling tips, it doesn't matter what you're doing. Okay, you're paying taxes on the end of it. At the end of the day, when you exit, same on all your gains. It is what it is. If you're either good or you're bad at it. It was stocks, Bitcoin, any and all of it. Now, gold has been an easy one. Gold and silver, because all you had to do is buy and get in 2016 when I told you to. And like, you're going on a decade of nothing but uphill gains. You know, silver's stuck at a ceiling right now, but it's about to explode out. Like I said earlier, I told you we're at that moment. Gold, obviously, on a tear. Now, I'm going to have to mention this now, but I'm going to come back around to it when we get to the war stuff with Iran, because it's all tied in together. There was a massive hack that just hit the Iranian banks. The biggest Iranian bank. Okay? This is something that can happen here, happen to us in return. Matter of fact, Mike Pompeo telegraphed it and said it last week. He said that they have a very extensive cyber warfare and there will be blowback somewhere in the world. And said, oh, yeah, really? And I screamed. I put it out there. I'm like, look, he's telegraphing. We're going to get hit. Someone's going to get hit. Why would it not be us? Who else is going to get hit? Like, we are the echelon of the other side backing Israel that's raining down all these bombs in Iran. So if it's not going to be Israel, it's going to be us. It's not going to go on forever where we don't get hit. This is ridiculous. I think this is why this moment's always been, looked at as with raised eyebrows, because any of the insiders know that this one is the one. This is the one that's going to get truly nasty. And probably nukes are going to get launched out of this. Tactical nukes are probably going to get launched in this window of time. Whether take your pick, Ukraine or what's going on here with Israel. And they're trying to fold the two into each other because they're fighting the same common enemy. And they're making it openly obvious. Dude, we're in World War. We're in it. I've been telling you, we are in it. We're in it. But again, most people are not going to accept this until a major event or nukes fly or something else. Because they're living the good life or whatever. They're winning. Life's good or they're getting by. It's not Great Depression mode yet and all this. So, look, Their bank got hit. The ATMs went out. No cash. That's a huge event. Okay? An Israeli hacking group took credit quickly, shut down their whole banking system with the heart of it. Right? Then they turn around and they hack the biggest Bitcoin exchange within Iran. They steal $90 million with the crypto. And some people out there, their brains so numb, no, they're not seeing it. Like, some quickly came in and are like, how do they steal it? Like, what do you mean? This is the Mossad and the CIA. They go in and they get this stuff all the time. They're sitting on bukus of crypto that they've recovered and taken from people. And this and that. What do you mean? You're not hip to the fact that they can do this? We've told you this a million times. Like, you think that Bitcoin is some indestructible asset? Like, there's some dude that said something. Here, I need to pull this up. I need to play it because I think it's important. Give me a second here. I'm gonna have to rifle through this stuff. Bunch of bookmarks here. I'm gonna have to spin through. But this piece is this guy trying to promote Bitcoin. And I hate these games. They come out there and they think they're little smarty pantses and saying this is why you should get Bitcoin because they can't do this. And blah, blah, blah. They can't shut it down and blah, blah, blah. Well, about to burst his bubble. Here it is. Okay. So, let me get this pulled up here.
Just got destroyed.
This dude, man. I can't stand half these games these days. So he's just promoting Bitcoin basically and the end of all this. But this is where the news broke. But I'm going to play this piece. Now listen.
Iran's biggest bank just got destroyed in a cyber attack. No ATMs, no online banking, no cash. SEPA Bank, the financial spine of Iran's military, is now frozen. Branches are shuttered and customers cannot even check their balances. A hacker group called Predatory Sparrow claimed responsibility. And they didn't just breach the system. They say they wiped every financial record. This came just days after Israel's intelligence chief warned, we will soon break through in other areas as well. This is personal. SEPA Bank has long funded Iran's military operations and missile program. Panic is already spreading as Trump posts that everyone in Tehran should evacuate immediately. This is exactly why we Bitcoin. Because when the system fails, your money goes with it. Unless it's outside of their reach. The Bitcoin ledger, it's not in one place. It's spread across tens of thousands of independent nodes around the world. To erase Bitcoin, you'd have to shut down the entire planet. A centralized bank like SEPA can be wiped out. Bitcoin can't.
Do you see that statement? Do you hear that statement? Now let me break it down for you. If Bitcoin was some righteous system, and if it was controlled by righteous people, bunch of big ifs that really that's not the case. It's not what's happening. You would have this decentralized thing around the world, like you said, that you can't take out because the nodes are all across the world, right? That's the whole idea of crypto. If you don't know, if you haven't taken the time to educate yourself on how this works, there's a beautiful side to it, all right, that keeps it out of the hands of the tyrants. It makes it to where they can't shut it down. Okay, the only downside to this is he lacks the knowledge that his own government created Bitcoin, and that it doesn't matter if you have nodes all across the world, like tentacles of an octopus, when it's all part of the same octopus, and you're failing to realize who that is. And it's the NSA. It's our government, which, notice, they play this big game and always have. They've kept Satoshi a mystery. It wouldn't work. It would have never worked. None of the Bitcoin coiners would have ever even got on board and promoted and pushed this if they thought that a freaking U.S. government created it. It was to go against it. So that's what the whole ideology around it was you use this against the government and it would sell. And therefore, no one would think that the government made it, especially if we don't let them know. And, well, no one's perfect. And they're pretty stupid, if you ask me. Again, if you're an investigator and you're going looking at, like, how was Bitcoin made? What's it made on? Who made that? Who made that? Who made that? Who made that? That's what I do. You understand? And I don't stop till I get answers. And when you find out that the very bottom, like the foundation of a house or something, the foundational part of it that it's all built on, you find fingerprints and you run them and you find a suspect. And it's the NSA. Boy, get out. But hey, some of us ain't stupid. Some of us figured this thing out. But it's what it is. We don't warn you the downside. All blockchain is tracking mechanism. Anything and everything you do. It doesn't have to be. Look, he signed a CBDC executive order saying he would not make a CBDC and turned around with the other hand and gave the people blockchain. This is going to go down when any intelligence looks back on history. This is going to go down one of the craziest times. You're like, what in just that example I just gave you? Like, what were the people thinking is what they're going to say. What they're going to have to do is zoom in and understand they were under hypnosis, like a mass black magic spell. This whole crowd was, and they went out of their way to get them corralled there to want to be there because they had to do that first, and they did, and it all worked. That's why these absurd things are happening and they're getting away with it. And, man, we're screwed. I'm telling you, you better hope that either the Most High returns to separate the wheat and the tare and to light this place on up, or you have a plan to ride this out. Everyone just sat there this whole time, especially the past 5 years, when they flexed, when they show you they were willing to lock you down, hold you down. You ain't do nothing? You didn't do nothing? I don't know what to tell you. Some say it was an IQ test, and that much, that and much more. When the beast flexes and shows you its hand, that it ran a beta test to lock you down, it showed you where this was going. And you didn't plan for it? Yeah, I hear excuses all the time. What could we do? I live paycheck, and this and that. Same here. I actually had, in the midst of it, everything taken from me. Nothing. If there's a will, there's a way. So I don't want to hear that crap. I don't want to hear it. There's a ton of people out here, way more than me, and just decided to do nothing. It's on them. It's on them. They didn't think at this time would ever come. I don't know. That they could push it off forever. I don't know. That somebody else is going to come to save a day. I don't know. But, well, there's a will, there's a way. You want to survive. You chalk up some kind of plan. Like I said before, if this whole place is going to go to crap, and we know it, and you know the whole thing's going to come tumbling down, it's going to be bringing it down, well, then have that be part of your plan then. Like, seriously, if this whole place comes down, you ever stop think about it? United States, they're going to have to forgive the debt of everyone to reset this. And it may sound crazy, but it's very plausible. It's happened in the past in history, and it's proven and shown to be a good move, especially if you're trying to get all the people onto a new system. You just forgive their debt. Then everyone will easily go back to the tally sticks when tally sticks were used. Okay, the people didn't want to do with tally sticks. They didn't want to do away with them for new fiat currency because they were used as tally sticks. But when they were told, we're going to do away with all your old debt if you come onto this new system, they accepted it. Who? Boy, you talk about a golden trap. You talk about a golden trap. History repeats itself. And I'm telling you, here, anytime our financial system, this place is about to get rocked. You can feel it in the air. You can feel it in the air. Thick. Man, send me an email, brother. Dabu7@yahoo.com. If you got anything you want to get to me, say anything. I try my best to get back to all of them. If you don't hear back from me, always send another one. Sometimes it gets sent to spam. Yes, I go looking for people trying to send me stuff on the daily. All right, so Kraft Heinz no longer going to put products out in the United States with artificial colors. I can give props again here to RFK in all they're doing here. I don't like RFK, can't stand him. He's part of the whole show, but they have to do some good things in the mix of all this. And this is some of it. So we're going to give them the props for it. Kraft Heinz switching up. They're not going to use these artificial flavors. That's good. It's healthy. It's good for us. So that's a win. And we'll give them that. Okay. TV network facing an advertising apocalypse because this pharma restriction stuff. They're basically saying they're going to put a ban on pharmaceutical companies from promoting prescription drugs directly to consumers. The television, radio, print, digital platforms, social media, all this, which they're saying is going to suck for the pharmaceutical companies, obviously, but it's going to be a big dent in advertising. Period. Another move they're making. Let's move on to the No Kings. No Kings. No problems, it says. Really wasn't. If that's all they had, it was weak. Oh well, flash in the pan. Next week, some people are going to be saying, what was No King? I mean, probably right now, people are going to be like, No King, what's No Kings? Like, it didn't even pick up the momentum. Nothing like BLM obviously did. And of course, they could still do stuff. Are they going to match some of the chaos that happened in the past? I don't think so. What we just witnessed with this No Kings is that in California, where it sparked, it was fed by the Dems and by a whole bunch of stuff out of California. We'll dive into here in a second. The roots there. But when it spread across the country, this operation, you could see it was like classic Soros. They tried to spread their NGOs to go out to all these different little cities. They'd send a person or two to every city to go scout it, to rent out places, to train people, and everything that we expose. And to put out flyers, to put out ads, to be a part of it. And we busted them doing all this stuff. Even the Walton family that owns Walmart being tied into this time. In the open with Soros, all the other NGOs, and others. But what we witnessed across the country is like in Chicago, LA, and maybe other cities, you've seen some large groups come out. They definitely didn't match anything that BLM it did. And there seemed to be some disappointment. Out of New York, for instance, the guys that came out trying to film there were like, what's going on? Like, they were expecting to find Antifa in all black, torching cars, knocking over trash cans, throwing Molotov cocktails. That, right? It wasn't. It was a bunch of older people. They were calling them silverheads, whiteheads, boomers. And they were showing clip after clip all across the case that's what they organized, because they couldn't get the youth in all these other cities to get on board to do any of this. They weren't interested. They wouldn't fall for it or whatnot. But these people, the boomers that were sitting at home or in their, wherever they're at, their communities, in front of a TV, probably 10 of them in a room around one TV, they're taking in, they're brainwashing CNN, the evening news. And it's like all day thing. And it was disgusting, man. Like robots. They were filing out of these places with their waving their flags, waving at the camera and all this. And it was like they were being used. I could see like they were just being used. Like, sure, they thought they were going out to do something good. A lot of them in their heart. But I could see from the bigger picture, they were all being used. Like, and then CBS got called out on it. And the mainstream got called out on it for giving the orders for people sitting on the couch, the boomers, those watching, to go out and protest. And that this is where they came from. That this is how it works. I told you it's black magic. They got them all up. They got them all out. Even in wheelchairs, pushing them all out. And they came out in mass. And when these dudes hit the streets, like again at NYC, they were like, dude, it's a bunch of boomers. Like, there's no action. It's like, this is what they did. This is what they did. This is what this whole push was made of. It was like grabbing from wherever they could to try to make this something. Mixed in with a couple of shootings, and obviously the crazy assassination thing that we're going to get into here in a minute, which is nuts. But the mainstream doesn't get called out en masse all too often like that and busted, and like they were. There's articles out there left and right explaining exactly what I just told you. That seemed to be this operation, and it worked for the most part, because in all these big cities, that's who ended up coming out. That's why there was no violence, which is good. Fine, that's fine, cool. They got out of the house. They went out. They did a little protest. Maybe they believed in it. Whatever. There weren't anything crazy reported, outside of the shootings. Which, again, all those type of major events always seem to have a tie into the alphabet gangs. So let's dive into that. Your tax dollars at work. California funded its own riots with $73 million in state money flows. Taxpayer money. And I told you this before. Sherla, the groups, like a combatant arm of Mayor Bass and Newsom, they were tapping into taxpayer money openly. We know this. This is like treason. Like, these people should be arrested. But again, man, they just came out and told you through Doge they just stole trillions and no one got arrested. Like, this is like, I don't even know what to call it anymore. It's they're openly doing this. This is like treason and war. This is war. This is like, back in the day, people would have been hung for this type of treason. For plotting against your own country, paying people to cause chaos and do stuff like this. Oh yeah. But now it's like a norm, and they're doing it in the open. But, Newsom trying to act like big tough guy, he'll square off with Trump and all them, like, come arrest me, come get me, and all this. We'll see. We'll see where this goes. I've yet to see a big name cat like, Newsom get taken down. A lot of talk going on out there, but Truman Show. Yeah. It's all crazy, isn't it? So, let's talk about this assassin for a minute. He has NGO ties, and this is very interesting. This bit of information was put out by the Oversight Project because they felt the public needed to know it. So it was by a private entity, not the government, that felt the world needed to know this. And instead of like keeping this secret, they're letting us know. This is interesting because if they can do this right here with him, it makes me wonder who else they can do it to. I will say this: they do not name the device linked in the story. It's a mystery. Why they keep it a mystery, I don't know. Why they even wanted to tell us, but it can only be one of a couple things. Okay? A few things. There is a device that they're saying is linked to this assassin that they were able to track to other countries, to crazy places all across the globe, from DC, Chicago Yacht Club, that's just in the United States, to Africa, to Nepal, Turkey, India, Dubai, all these places. So, what would someone take with them that primarily shows them there? So, I'm going to tell you, my best guesses are a phone, tablet, laptop. These are like my top ones right there. And it could be anything else. I mean, it could be an AirPod. They put it on tracking or something. They don't want to say or something like that. But I feel like it's just more common, just a common device. Like everyone travels with electronics, and like this guy would be no different. And he would have a laptop or a tablet or something that he gets on in the evening to do all of his research, just like anyone else would do. Especially if he's doing all this planning and plotting, and he's moving around the world and all this, booking flights and all this stuff. Like he's got some kind of electronic device he's doing all that on. Come on. So they won't name it. So just it's one of those things that I mean he could have all three. He could have all these devices on him. So it's like take your pick. All we know is that they're saying it's a device and that this guy was in some very suspect places. And it's interesting because, man, like, if you can do this, my mind starts to run wild. You don't think Bill Gates take out a cell phone? You don't think Bill Gates take out a laptop? You don't think, or something like that? You don't think people like all this? I don't know, man. I don't know. The fact that they keep it a mystery instead of saying they tracked his phone or they tracked his computer, it's the biggest thing. Right? They went out of their way to keep that device a secret. If you guys come across any information, any stories, any links that give away what it is, even if it's from like another country, that may even be your better bet. Let me know. Dabu7@yahoo.com. We'll put it out there. It's very interesting in this electronic age. Now, he shot and killed Melissa Hortman, the Minnesota state rep. He knocked on the door, acted like a cop. She came outside. He shot her. Now check this out. Someone broke into her home after she had been killed. And it's obviously like a crime scene. Home had been boarded up with plywood after investigators had moved stuff out for evidence of the homicide. But in the Wednesday, they say an individual pried off the plywood on the back window of the home. It's unclear whether the individual stole anything. Well, come on. This is crazy. It's like someone going in for a cleanup job. This is pretty crazy. Like, who would put themselves in that position? And not if someone stole something, first and foremost, they would like say it, they would know it. They were just in there. They should have photos, video, and evidence. Everything logged. It was a crime scene, for crying out loud. It should all be logged. So if there was something in there that was missing, they should have known. Like, and why would someone go out of the way to go in there? I don't know. I don't know. Raised a lot of questions. It's kind of crazy with all the questions around the shooter and everything that's gone down, the way he did it. Now the home being broken into, it seems like it's all connected, like a cleanup type of person, or something else tied into this. It doesn't seem random, that's for sure. This is too much. Taking of some evidence, maybe could be trying to cover something up. I don't know, but it seems like a desperate attempt because they have to know that investigators have already been in there. They boarded the place up. They know this. So it's not something that you see or hear of every day. You know, it's not like at a crime scene, the investigators are thinking, oh, let's put up a hidden camera in case somebody shows up. Like, how often does this even happen? Like, you know, so I don't know, man. It's just a weird one. Really weird when it comes down to all this. Mystery break-in. Unclear. If I get more information, I'll update you. Trump gives the green light. He reinstates immigration enforcement, and it's going to affect a lot of people, on farms, hotels, and meat plants. It means if you work at a hotel, stay in a hotel, work at a farm, have workers that are on a farm, meat plants. This is a large variety here. ICE is about to show up. All these stories you've been hearing about all these other places, it's about to happen to you, especially in the sanctuary places. I can't stress that enough. In any place that's been labeled a sanctuary state or a sanctuary city, something like that, they're going to come in mass. And they've been doing it. They've been going in, snatching people up, all these locations, rolling out with them. What this calls for is that, like, everybody in there gets ID'd and, like, all this other stuff. The other side, as I said before, it's opening up jobs, actually, because these illegals are getting taken out, and these spots got to be filled quickly. And it's not going to be by illegals now, so it's opening up job opportunities for people. So if we want to look at that side, we'll keep it pushing here. Let's jump into the AI. We've got Sam Altman, OpenAI CEO, saying that Zuckerberg has tried to come in and, like, pull some cutthroat stuff, like, type of stuff here. They floated an offer of $100 million to his OpenAI team to try to steal the talent. That's a lot of money. He says, thankfully, nobody's taken the bait yet, but that's what they're doing out here. Pretty cutthroat. And doing this. Drunken Dow in the house, man. Much love. Good to see you. Thank you for the coffee. I appreciate the love and support. Yeah, AI is going to have all the jobs, but not every single thing. Like, when it comes to farmers picking plants out in the garden, in the field, and doing all this other stuff, yes, maybe further down the road, all that can be automated. But right now, it's humans. If you need your car fixed and you need a guy under the hood to reach down in a tight spot and ratchet and replace a hose on a belt line, you need humans to do this stuff. For the immediate future, especially. There's certain things that people need to start putting some thought and time into this, where humans are going to actually be needed instead of a bunch of wasted time and energy in other places where you're going to be replaced. It's scary. AI is hands down the technological thing out there. I'm going to play this Schwarzenegger. It's I don't know if he's trying to gain, some popularity. He's seen all these people that went on the Trump bandwagon on the other side here that took a different stance, like gained some popularity, or if he was trolling or what was going on here. But we're asking him questions where normally they would have thought he was going to say something different, and it seems like he flipped the script on Joy Bear and them here, as they say. He shocks them with his answer because they expect to be like super left leaning and all this other stuff. I won't play the clip here so you can see what he says.
All right, but you know, as an immigrant yourself, you are an immigrant. You're an immigrant in this country.
See where she's going.
Did you have a visceral reaction to what they're doing, what ICE is doing, when you see the videos of it?
Well, I tell you, you said that the immigrant, I'm so proud and happy that I was impressed by the American people like that. I mean, imagine they came over here with the age of 21, with absolutely nothing. And then to create a career like that. I mean, in no other country in the world could you do that. Yeah. Every single thing, if it's my bodybuilding career, if it's my acting career, becoming governor, the beautiful family that I've created,
right.
All of this is because of America.
That's true.
And so this is why I'm so happy to see firsthand that this is the greatest country in the world, and this is the land of opportunity.
And see, they were wanting to take it another way, and that's what this whole article talks about. But Arnold took it the other way on him. I just thought it was he did a good job of doing it, like, of not making any big political. I'm just spinning it, just putting a slight spin on it the other way, to where. And how can you argue with that statement? It was like down the middle, God bless America, love America type of statement. And it didn't feed into the political anything. So, I mean, he was in politics. He's not stupid. He went from acting to politics. Politics is the big boys of acting. You ask me, because that's where they're needed the most to fool the masses. And he's done a little bit of all of it. A truthful statement, though. The only place in the world, though, that would have given him that opportunity. Say what you want about Schwarzenegger, sell out, this and that, and blah blah blah. America did give him that opportunity. It's only America doing that. It's only America that has all these things. And to his points there, not to say that there's not opportunity in other places, but during his time coming up, the heyday of America, I think, may be in the rearview mirror. Our best days, unfortunately. It's a setup. We've got a lot of people that are waking up to Trump being a fraud. Or, let me rephrase it. I don't want to hurt your feelings if you're a Trumper. Actually, I don't care. But if you're still in love with Trump to that extent, you need to wake up. That's bad. You can't just accept everything he says and not question it. You have to question it. And that's where I've been the whole time. Like, if you voted for Trump over Biden, okay, cool. I give you that pass. I understand. He was the better pick. I understand. I see the trap. Okay, we've seen it clearly. And you voted for Trump, we'll give you that. Now you got to hold him accountable. Just like when Bush was in there, when Obama was in there, it didn't matter who, but you got to hold them accountable. You got to hold them accountable. You can't just like sit back and just act like you're not seeing none of this going on. Well, at first it seemed like that was what was going on. Big time. Some people still doing it. Some people continue to do it. I might be John Connor. But I'm seeing some people wake up like en masse to this. They're calling him out in different ways. Everyone's got their own reasons, different reasons. This war is really setting it off. Everything with Israel, babies getting their heads blown off all the time. Let's go in and clean it all out. These, comments, people are hearing them, they're seeing them, and like they don't want to represent that. Yeah, they're all in the club. It's one big show. Some of us are hip to that. That's what I do around here. Is I try to wake people up to the left-right paradigm and snap them out of it and let them see that, this is what's really going on. It's one big club controlled by what's called an establishment. They control both sides of the aisle. They always have. That's called the illusion of choice. It's called the Hegelian dialect. And it's real black magic at its finest. Trump and all them, they're wizards, warlocks, and they have your witches. And this is one of the craziest times in history. They have an opportunity through social media, through all these different mechanisms, technological, to brainwash and control the people in a magic spell. Large scale, very large scale. This it's never been done like in modern time like this, because you've never had all this. You've never had that whole apparatus. You never had everything in place to do it. Now you do. 10 years ago, you didn't have the social media. Trump didn't have his own platform. You didn't have all these things. 20, 30 years ago, it's like you didn't even have the internet as we know it. All these things, like right now, it's all come together to make this what it is. We live in a crazy time. I believe the beginning of tribulation, and it's always been known that Iran, Israel was going to be a big thing that set it off. That's why there's always been eyes on it. But Trump is not going to be the guy that is just all about peace and not going to do anything on any war fronts. He's made it clear, especially with Iran, all cards are on the table. And this doesn't set well with some people. Now, if there's a threat out there, there's a threat. But I've listened to this ever since towers fell. I've listened to this government try to tell me there's big bad boogeymen all across the globe, weapons of mass destruction that they never discovered, and all this other crap. And I don't forget. Okay? So they want to say, oh, Iran can't have a nuke, Huh. I'm going to show you some stuff again on that here in just a second, on how much of a ploy that is. But first, to show you, some of these cats out here are waking up, like this one right here, and turning on Trump, and some of the reasons why.
It was in 2007 that the Pentagon told George W. Bush that we cannot go to war with Iran because we do not have escalation dominance against them, essentially meaning that they can hit all of our bases and embassies in the region, and we are very vulnerable to them. And we've already seen demonstrated since the Israeli attack that the Iranian, the missiles that they sent last year toward Israel, as many of us guessed, that wasn't really their best. They were intentionally making an attack that wouldn't really hurt anybody, that wouldn't really lead to a war, which Iran has done over and over again. But now we've pushed them to the point where they probably don't feel that they have the option not to respond. And Donald Trump telling them to come back to the negotiating table now is a joke.
Yeah.
I mean, what a impotent leader to be sitting there talking about coming back to the negotiating table. It's like sitting after Pearl Harbor and telling FDR, now's the time to go negotiate with the Japanese.
Right.
Negotiations are over now. The time for negotiations was before this. And so, yeah, Donald Trump looks, and man, I supported him this last year. I apologize for doing so. It was a bad calculation. At the time, it seemed like the right one. But he should be impeached and removed for this one, and not on some not on some ridiculous Nancy Pelosi. Of course, the Congress will never do it because they're all a bunch of corrupt hacks.
This is the one thing they support. This is like
Donald Trump should be impeached and removed for this. All of his supporters should turn on him. It's the absolute betrayal of everything that he ran and campaigned on and everything that he stood for. And I will say, despite the fact that, Donald Trump supporters have been labeled like a cult following, and that certainly is true for a percentage of his supporters, he is going to lose his coalition over this. I don't just speak for myself when I say there are a lot of us who simply will not go along with this. So it's just a devastating mistake. By the way, on top of that, he's also going to lose the deportation fight because of this. Because right now he needed all the political capital he could have to turn that, you got a majority support for deportations, but the minority is very mobilized and they're out and they're protesting all around the country. He needed all of his political capital for that move. So here's what we got. The neocons win. More war abroad and, bomb the world and invite the world. No matter who you vote for, you always get John McCain.
Yeah, and I got to say, all my life, the Republican ticket is minus Trump's last time in office, and I think they ran it that way because they had to. Everything's done for a reason. Just like they why did he go through Biden? Well, Biden had to be put in for a reason. When you stop and you look at the bigger picture, like they had to flood this place with illegals first and foremost. You would have never got that under Trump, right? Look, I mean, he comes in. Look what we got. So it had to be under the certain things. Now, you had to have a reason to release strike teams across the country to round people up. Jade Helm is what it's called. Okay. And we warned you about this long time, over a decade ago, and it's actually live right now. My biggest fear here is when they release something and all the attention turns to rounding up purebloods, people that don't take the next jab, because the next one's way deadlier and it's going to be guns drawn and all that. That's the real deal. That's the real test. That's what this all comes down to. Everybody's got their head in the sand, looking the other way or whatever. They just ran us through a beta test. They're going to do it. They're going to do it. And when they do it, our life changes forever. I swear to you, the visions God gave me, he's already shown me. I already know. And I'm like basically told, like, build your ark. Like, build your location. You're wherever you're going to grow, you're going to live, you're going to survive the ecosystem. You're going to try to ride this out because you're going to get cut off from the world. Like, you won't be able to venture nowhere because there will be cutoffs, there will be checkpoints, there will be everything, just like there was last time. And it wasn't even deadly. So when it's really deadly, this trumps everything. No pun intended, but it trumps everything. It trumps the economic everything. In its own right, it will cause an economic shutdown. When I mean, just you seen what COVID did, it brought the whole market down when everybody geeked. The smart, wise guys were buying the dip. Buying everything at super discount. And they're going to sell it off the top. You see how that works? And they're going to leave unsuspected masses holding the bag. And Trump was just their man. They needed to buffalo the masses. They needed to quail them. They needed to keep them in a corner where they could somehow get away with doing a lot of atrocious things, but they were just going to sit there and say nothing. Well, that was a pretty hard feat until the whole MAGA Trump, the whole thing coming to motion, and this was like a dream come true for them. They got to pull this off on Trump's watch because no one, and I mean no one, can replace Trump. No, I don't care if you take a damn pope and try to replace Trump. He can't do it. You ain't the Gentile Messiah. He is chosen for this. I'm convinced of it. What kind of label you want to put on Donald Trump, I don't know. Or Elon, any of these other characters. They're all part of the same satanic club. Just don't forget that. You get lost in debating, argue with people you really shouldn't be arguing with over smaller, pettier stuff. When the bigger picture is they're all part of the same club, and you should see that clearly. If you don't, you're digging a little deeper. All right, this. This is pretty crazy. Tucker Carlson tears in Ted Cruz, and maybe rightfully so, but some of it was like really, like gotcha questions and like really tearing into Cruz a big. I'm gonna play some of these clips so you can see the interaction here that I'm talking about.
How many people live in Iran, by the way? I don't know the population. At all? No, I don't know the population. You don't know the population of the country you seek to topple? How many people live in Iran? 92 million. Okay. Yeah. How could you not know that? I don't sit around. that's kind of relevant because you're calling for the overthrow of the government.
Why is it relevant whether it's,
because
it's 90 million or 80 million or 100 million? Why is that
because if
relevant?
you don't know anything about the country...
I didn't say I don't know anything about
Okay, what's the ethnic mix of Iran?
They are Persians and
What percent?
predominantly Shia. Okay,
It's not even... You don't know anything about Iran. So
okay, I am not the Tucker Carlson expert on Iran.
You're a senator who's calling for the overthrow of the government. You're the one who don't know anything about the country.
No, you don't know anything about the country. You're the one who claims they're not trying to murder Donald Trump. You're the
I'm
one
not saying that.
who can't figure out if it was a good idea to kill General Soleimani, and you said it was bad.
You don't believe they're trying to murder Trump?
Yes, I do.
Because you're not calling for military strikes against them in retaliation. And if you really believe that...
We're carrying out military strikes today.
You said Israel was.
Right, with our help. I said we. Israel is leading them, but we're supporting them.
Well, you're breaking news here because the U.S. government last night denied, the National Security Council spokesman Alex Pfeiffer denied on behalf of Trump that we were acting on Israel's behalf in any offensive capacity.
No, we're not bombing them. Israel's bombing them.
You just said we were.
We are supporting
This is
Israel.
high stakes. You're a senator. If you're saying the United States government is...
I think that's pretty valid. That is very valid. It is, regardless of who's what here. This is crazy. Yeah, the world is a stage, man. These characters. Anyway, you've got Tulsi, another one here. Apparently, she said some things about this whole thing, and even that she would resign if we got drug into a war. And Trump is like, you could tell he's already turned to where like he don't care about her.
Mr. President, you've always said that you don't believe Iran should be able to have a nuclear weapon, but how close do you personally think that they were to getting one? Because Tulsi Gabbard testified in March that the intelligence community said Iran wasn't building a nuclear weapon.
I don't care what she said. I think they were very close to having it.
Yeah, you don't care what she said. I want to play this clip of this guy talking about when the missile arrived. It's pretty crazy. Deadly missiles hit civilian areas of Israel, but here's a clip.
When the missile arrived, we were in the staircase in the building, and the shock was like so huge. I never saw even a piece of a rocket, and to see an explosion right in front of my face and my brother's face, crazy.
A ballistic missile has just slammed into a building in the center of Tel Aviv. Right now, first responders are trying to put out the flames in the distance. You can see right now there are a variety of paramedics on the scene, police officers and soldiers. And if you come over here, you'll see part of a collapsed building. They don't know if anyone is currently inside, but they are checking right now.
You know, I don't know. These days, with all that's going on, I can't sit here and help but think like someone could sit somewhere and create all this with AI and feed this to us every single day. And they could have been doing this for decades, like already, and like literally everything fake. Like they could do it. Like we're in an age right now where they are doing things like this, like all day, every day. It's like where's the one that's trying to pass off this stuff is real? To what extent? You know? Why even roll somebody out in a mask when you can just use AI? And like, I don't know. AI can be pretty crappy in some aspects, but I know that they've got the highest level of it. I want to throw out there that Kash Patel is saying that they have discovered that the Chinese had a plot to create thousands of fake mail-in ballots in the 2020 election, and that Christopher Wray hid this like he did the Iranian breach of the 2020 election system. Now, if if FBI Director Kash Patel is telling you this and telling you that Christopher Wray hit this, then that is crime. And the FBI Director Kash Patel should have ordered his men immediately to go arrest Christopher Wray at his location and hold him until court for these charges. You're talking major events here, and covering them up, tied to other countries. If you know this, that is treason at the highest levels. Christopher Wray did tell us on his way out that the Chinese were inside of everything, all sectors, and that basically they did nothing about it. It's like a heads up. It was like a FU. It was like flipping us the finger. Yep, the Chinese are in everything. See you. That's how I took it. So, he should be Christopher Wray in a real world situation here, knowing all this information. They should have had him and questioning all that stuff, man. Had him in the room, question after question. So I don't buy none of this crap. Buy none of it. It's garbage, man. I'm so sick of this. Kash Patel, damn Bongino. It's a joke. It's a freaking joke. Kidding me? Pam Bondi, RFK, Tulsi, all these goons they threw out there for the people. Same old song and dance. Here's one. There's a war powers resolution that's been introduced in Congress. This is to prevent the United States to go to war with Iran. So this is where our senators and Congress and all that are basically saying, we're going to stop this. We're not backing this at all. Whatever's written and scripted to happen from here, it's going to happen. So this is the bill. They put it out there. I don't know what happened with it. But Trump's done warned everybody, get out of Tehran. So people have been fleeing big time. And he's telegraphed things like this right here. For too long, he was the hunted. They wanted to kill him, tried to assassinate him twice, but now he's in the driver's seat. He's the hunter, so to speak. That's what I take from this.
Who gave you the idea to do this?
I've had it for a long time. The first time I had it, but you guys were after me. I said I had to focus. I was the hunted, and now I'm the hunter. It's a big difference.
It's a big difference. So, these things, they mean something. They telegraph certain things. It's how they operate. So Israel saying it's running low on missile interceptors. And they keep saying they need more and more and more from the U.S. And it's okay, the whole world's watching, this isn't happening behind, you're backing the U.S. And it's almost like you're telling the whole world, obviously, that the U.S. is behind all this. They're just feeding you all the weaponry that you're using. And you're in this together. Why would the United States not get hit? Could somebody answer me that? Why would we not get hit? Seems a little overdue to me. It seems like it's what's about to happen. Something's about to happen. So they're openly saying they need bunker busters and they need these other missiles to and even their Iron Dome is falling apart. It's failing. It's because it was not designed to handle these Mach 5, 6, whatever they are, missiles that are raining down right now. There's different types of missiles that are coming down that These systems are not prepared for them. We even see that in Ukraine, the Patriot defense system getting pummeled. Hypersonics, man, are a different animal. And again, even the Iron Dome of Israel, which they try to say all the time is going to stop this and that, like, it can't stop these things. They're raining down. They're hitting all over the place. There's footage all over the place. It's crazy. The shockwave that comes off these bombs, you would almost think that they're already tactical type of nukes. I mean, seriously, they hit with that much repercussion. You could see the shockwave in the atmosphere. That's here on Earth. They're also intercepting them up in subspace because the hypersonics go way high and come down real fast, and they're clipping them right up there in subspace. And when they do up there where there's really no atmosphere, you see it. It almost looks like a Tesla missile thing because it has the same type of effect. It looks wild up in the atmosphere. Can you imagine what Star Wars is going to look like? Real deal. Like, as this escalates, this is going to start to look crazy. And you don't need blue beam when a lot of this stuff is real deal explosions, real deal missiles getting launched and getting taken down and hitting cities, blowing them apart and everything else. Only thing I can ask for is for more people to share, more everyday people to share to the social media. Everyday people to share images of the cities. We have to keep this going. We have to be able to draw on what's happening off of everyday people. It can't just be headlines that are being pushed out there because, again, at some point, it can all be just an AI fabricated world. Like, we need real people pushing out on the social media pictures on their accounts of stuff that's happening. If we're not seeing any of that, we have a problem. Reality check. Like, who's over here really? Who do we got? What corresponds? Who do we got over here that can tell us this is really happening? That's all I'm saying. We can't just be relying on all these outlets. So, reports of warplanes strike the Ayatollah have gone to the roof. This is going to be when one of the leaders gets taken out. You know, it's going to be major. If the Ayatollah gets decapitated, striked, you know, and Iran's been trying to pass around the base of where the Mossad are, but they're deep underground. Not to say that they still can't get them, but, you know, Trump tries to say that we're the only ones on the planet that have the weapons that we have, the only ones. And pretty confident of that. Well, we'll see. We'll see. I haven't seen nothing stop these hypersonics, so to speak. There's not an answer to it. They rain down dozens of hypersonics. Like, these things are just coming down wherever they're targeting. They're coming down with lightning speed, too. They're scary. It's like Star Wars, man. When I played that one clip. So the Ayatollah tells Trump he will never surrender. So that's where we're at in history. The Ayatollah, the leader of Iran, responding to Trump, Trump telling him, you need to surrender. He's saying no. Trump openly saying that they want to see regime change. And that they should never have any nukes because they think that they would use them in all this kind of crap, right? Well, look at this. Iran prepares to hit U.S. regional bases with missiles if Trump joins the war. And this is garbage. Like, okay, officially, I guess, I see what you're saying, but, like, we all know, again, that the U.S. is behind all this. Like, it's be done with the show, like the gimmick. Like, we're backing this, and it's known. But like, I guess if Trump puts the stamp on it officially for the record books, they're saying they're going to strike our embassies, they're going to strike bases, that anything that they can touch, they're going to hit. This could become crazy. So what's the next one say? Trump has reportedly approved tonight Iran attack plans, but he's withholding the final order. And in the clip, he's sitting there like, nobody knows what I'm going to do. I could do anything at any moment. No one knows what I'm going to do. Trying to keep everybody on the edge of their seat, this and that. So I may do it. I may not do it. You know, it's like, what the, really? That's where we're at. Anytime, and this will affect the markets if that news is introduced as well. So look, they've been trying to say that Iran is building a bomb for like over for 30 years at least. I'm going to say all my life, but here's a compilation showing Bibi pushing this throughout the years.
The deadline for attaining this goal is getting extremely close. And Iran, by the way, is also outpacing Iraq in the development of ballistic missile systems that they hope will reach the eastern seaboard of the United States within 15 years. By next spring, at most, by next summer, at current enrichment rates,
2012,
they will have finished the medium enrichment and move on to the final stage. From there, it's only a few months, possibly a few weeks, before they get enough enriched uranium for the first bomb. The foremost sponsor of global terrorism could be weeks away from having enough enriched uranium for an entire arsenal of nuclear weapons. That would place a militant Islamic terror regime weeks away from having the fissile material for an entire arsenal of nuclear bombs.
If not stopped, Iran could produce a nuclear weapon in a very short time. It could be a year, it could be within a few months, less than a year.
Same thing, repeated. You're talking 30 years of this, them trying to sell this. That's where we're at. You're talking about an event they've been trying to pull off for 30 years in the making, at least. That's pretty crazy. We're here. Now, bombs are flying. Only thing not flying is nukes, thank God. But it could happen at any time if things escalate. And I'm telling you, I feel like they can hit us hard. The lights could be put out in America. How could they not? I mean, how long are we going to go here? Back in the war in Ukraine against Russia. Back in Israel here against Iran. And everyone knows it. And it's not get hit. Huh? Russia's getting hit inside of Russia now. All the way up into Moscow. You got Iran getting bombed. You got Tel Aviv and Israel getting bombed. How are we going to go untouched? How? I just don't see it. I think something huge is about to happen. They'll do it. Before Iran falls, it will happen. You could have went in, and they did. They toppled Saddam. They killed Gaddafi in the streets, RIP. But it seems the script has always been this way, for this to happen, for it to end this way. And that Khomeini is the one. He's the one. This final boss man, when you've got China, Russia, and Iran all on the other side of where troops are dying in war. Man, I told you before, this is World War III. I don't know what else you call it. The sides are drawn. Outside of nukes flying. I'm telling you, this is World War III. Sides are very clear. So look at this. I told you earlier, this hack that happened. This can happen here. Again, Mike Pompeo came out and told us, get ready. A huge event's going to happen somewhere in the world, and Iran's going to do it because they have the ability. Really? How can they have the ability if they're put in the dark? But I don't know. Israel starts hacking, and this is when they're going on a spree here. The whole world's watch out because they hit the main banks inside of Iran, the ones that control the money that flows into the military. That's huge. Okay. And as I told you earlier, they also hacked the biggest exchange, crypto exchange, and stole 90 million of the money. I'm telling you, the crypto market, the crypto world out there still hasn't even absorbed all this. They haven't even wrapped their head around or cared to ask the question maybe of like, how's that? Like, how did they just steal it? Like, because if that's the case, they can go anywhere and they can steal it from anywhere. Huh. This should bring the whole market down. It could. Like as soon as everybody wakes up to it. But the market always comes down on FUD anyway, which is a lot of bad information for the market. That's what brings it down. Outside of someone selling the top. But it's usually timed together. It's usually timed together. That's the excuse for the sell-off is crazy news. Which the sell-off becomes crazy news in itself. And you could have a depression on the other end of it. So on top of those hacks that all Israel claimed responsibility for all that, there was Iranian state television, like the regular TV in Iran, gets hacked as well. Let me show you this. So they're showing their TV. It's been taken over. And it's showing these messages. And this is everyone inside of Iran showing this. So imagine if this happens in America. Imagine like everyone's trying to watch Fox News tonight. Big statement from Trump or something. And like this happens. Islamic writing or some other kind of writing across the screen. And like it's hacked. Like much less Steve. What are people gonna do? Like all across the country, like this is happening. Like something's about to happen. What if it's this? What if they're showing us like everything that they're capable of doing and what's about to happen to us? These beta test and telegraphing stuff is only gonna last so long. They've already told us. They're only gonna tell you once. So that's that war. Let's go to the other war, the other major war front here, which again they're merging into one. Ukraine. Russian missiles and drones target Kiev, hit the airport, other military facilities, and they're taking it out. They're making moves, man. At this rate, if they go the rest of the summer like this, the rest of the year, they're going to take Kiev, and they're going to take a huge section. Man, Zelensky's pretty idiotic. They should have came to the table and made a deal with Russia instead of launching a drone attack on everything, acting like they're slick when they're supposed to be sitting at the table talking peace. Like, it was just stupid. One of the stupidest things I've ever seen militarily in recent times. And Russia said, all right, we're having none of it. There is no peace talk. There is no break. There is no timeout. There is no relieving the pressure. We're just full onslaught all the way across the country. We're pounding out Kiev. And we're going all the way to, like they said, they're going to leave a sliver on the western side of the country left as Ukraine. All the rest is going to be taken under the control of Russia. That's what's happening right now. Last show, I told you they took over three new towns. They're pounding Kiev, pounding crap out, and they're gonna strike Zelensky at some point. They're going to pick up on where he's at, and they're going to try for it. So the Brits and the Ukrainians are plotting to manipulate Trump into going to war with Russia. And Russia's saying there's two false flag events they're trying to set into motion. There's two things, big things they're trying to do here. The first one would see transferred Soviet or Russian torpedoes explode near a U.S. ship, where they would basically, like, a ship's going to go down. And look, Monograph shared something the other day, and there's all this chatter about the Nimitz. Our Nimitz is moving into the area, and it's ancient, it's old. They need to retire it. All this talk is out there, and they know it. And there's talk that they could attack it. And Israel's done this in the past. They've attacked our ships in the past. It's on record. It's part of history, man. You need to get with it. That it can all happen. And that basically, they don't care if this Nimitz gets sunk. It's going to be decommissioned anyway. If this thing gets hit and taken out, it's going to be like a staged event. Okay, that's what I'm warning you. If you hear of a ship go down or anything like that from here, it's like staged to accelerate this whole thing. Okay? And Russia's warning about it right now. That's the first thing that they see about to happen. And second, it's going to be something to do with landmines being fished out of the Baltic Sea and presented as proof that the Kremlin is trying to sabotage international shipping. That they're going to try to frame them, that they've got landmines or mines in the water or something. So those two things, Russia's like screaming set up. On the other hand, Trump is saying that the past administration and everyone else screwed up big time for kicking Russia out. They made a big mistake for kicking Russia out of the G8, because now it's just G7. It was G8. And that led to the Ukraine war. It looks like he may still be trying to strike deals here. And remember, he said if they can get over this whole Ukraine thing, there's huge deals on the table that they're ready to sign between the U.S. and Russia in terms of all types of stuff, economically, all types of stuff. But this whole Ukraine thing is like hampering it. Yeah, well, we'll see. World's a stage, right? Theaters of war. Here on the home front, we've got 2 Chinese spies arrested in custody for smuggling in these biological material type pathogens that could cause mass devastation. And they're saying that they think that this is tied into something bigger. If that's the case, then get on it, Kash Patel. Get on it. But they're not. This is set up. So Patel gives Congress intel on an alleged Chinese plot to create the fake mail-in ballots in 2020. That's garbage. I don't believe anything out of any of these goons. It's a setup, as far as I could tell. Something huge is about to happen. Like right before 9/11 is what this is. And something huge is about to happen. It's going to change the course of history. I want to remind you that when 9/11 happened, that like day in and day out, for weeks, for months on end, it's all that played on TV. It's all that was talked about. Was the towers coming down, replayed all this stuff. Man in a cave, Osama bin Laden, a whole thing, brainwashing went into effect. And you know it. Many of you know it. Something just like that's about to happen. It's going to change everything. And they're slick about stuff, so as long as they're getting their way is all that matters. Financially, the whole system's about to be moved. I mean, we're about to get hit. How can we not? Looking at Ukraine, looking at Iran, missiles flying, what I just said, how can we not? Like, how are we that special? Like Trump's talking about this Golden Dome, getting it put up to intercept. Well, we don't have it yet. We have nothing as of the moment. And all this stuff's happening. Like, we get hit with anything at any time. And even if you did take out something at like 20,000 feet, you know what that could cause? An EMP. You know, the mother of all events in terms of that, which I really have lowered on the totem pole because it doesn't just cyber attacking and taking down the grid that way is more advantageous to them and to time it out and all that rather than an EMP that fries everything and drops planes out of the sky and everything else. Like it would be a horrific event. And like all their everything would be down. Like they would have to be in a full backup system, which I don't doubt, which we know they've got Cheyenne Mountain and everything else, and you have to have it up and going and protected and on those backup comms as the rest of the world would die off. Like all of our communication would die off. Everything would be fried. EMP would fry everything. Like it would send us back to Stone Age. And like, are you prepared for that? Like, I try not to. No one wants to think about that, but it could happen. We didn't want. It's done. You ain't going too far. No gas pumps are even going to work. Like, no one's doing anything. Like, wherever you're at, like, people could spend, like, the last few months of their lives just migrating, trying to get back home because they were out on the road somewhere when this happens or something crazy. Like, that's worst case. And we know it. Again, I don't, here recently, I haven't even talked about EMPs, even mentioned them. For one, I don't want to see it happen. And number two, again, I think it's more advantageous to do the cyber thing at this point. They can pull more strings, do more things, hold things more hostage. They could do it in a smoother manner. It will be pure hell and chaos if an EMP goes off, without a doubt. Like your worst nightmare type stuff. On the same level, it's like a notch behind. It's just like right behind real bird flu release with like a 40% kill rate. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Like those two things are like what you don't want to see from here. Those are the two big dogs that you're trying to steer clear of. Outside of an asteroid striking Earth or something. And again, these nukes flying. I don't see how we don't get hit somehow, some way. So take your pick. Pick your poison. Like, I'm going to say the most humane way, and we're going to have the best odds here, is through a cyber attack and stuff like that. Because they're going to want to usher everyone on into a new system. We already know this. We already figured all this out. We can see where it's going from a mile away. All right, so the masses don't. They're going to go right on in with this. Easy. The scary part is it's probably going to be easy for them. Man, we are a remnant. We get it. But like, does the rest of your city get it? Like, seriously, when they all tomorrow are going through the new beast system because Trump told them to, it's not called the beast system. It's just called whatever. And they do it because it's easy. It's easy. You think they were going to make it hard? Like, nah, like, they're going to make it as easy as possible to entice everyone into the beast system. At first, until it comes down to the barrel of a gun. And to me, the only justification that you get for doing that is if you have a deadly release of, let's say, bird flu or anything else with a high kill rate, where you really have, like out of the movies, like Gray State, rest in peace, my brother that they killed. Gray State that warned of this exact scenario where they come in and it's like all pure bloods will be hunted. That's what I'm warning you. All these homing teams that are out there rounding up migrants and all this, right? That would be a thing of the past. Like in a blink of an eye, when this begins with bird flu, pure bloods will be hunted. Because you will have to show proof that you've been jabbed. You have to show it. And the easiest way to do it is going to be visually. Not because really, you're talking about a real deadly event now. Okay? And look, listen. Troops can't, all right? Think about this now. This is different. This is a real deadly one, not the crap we went through. You can't deal with humans coming up to you and unfolding a paper in front of you and handing it to you to show you that they're jabbed or not jabbed. You can't have that close range interaction at first at all, even take the chance, because right there you could get it and die from it. So you would do it at distance. If you're jabbed, you would have and this is the crazy part. We know all this. Bill Gates has a patented 666 Luciferase jab. That glows. That has never been used yet. And that's what's to be used, I'm telling you. And it's marked with the number. It's marked with the fucking number. And we've told you, we've known this. It's just sitting there waiting. Sitting on the shelf waiting. It's glistening. Like, look at me. I'm coming next. You've known about it the whole time. There's nothing that you can do to stop it. Because when a real deadly one rolls out, nothing anyone says. Conspiracy people like us, we're going to be hunted. They're going to come at us with like everything they've ever had. And because this is going to be real deadly. And they're going to have the right to say that. They're going to be like, it's dropping bodies. And this is going to be the tricky part. They're going to be coming with that jab again. The jab, the mark. It's pretty clear. Even if it's not the mark of the beast or not. It is a mark. It's there to be utilized as exactly what I'm telling you. And it reminds me of the movie Songbird. Because I've never seen the whole movie, but in the clips it showed that like they raised their hand at like 20 feet away from soldiers. They had them at gunpoint, and they were in face masks. And these people were on their knees, and they put their hands up, and they showed it glowed, just like the Luciferase will. Do you understand? That is the real deal. That event, I tell you again, is what God showed me. It's what I've prepared every day. All these years for, because I was shown those visions, and it's all connected to this, the real release, the real one. And I pray to God. He pushes it back all the time. He pushes it back. He pushes it back. He pushes it back. He postpones it, but it's clear this is the plan, and then it won't be held back forever. Just as floodwaters were not held back forever. Noah was warned, build your ark. Once it was built, it began. And that's how it's always been put to me. And I've always compared myself to being out in the wilderness, building my ark to survive what's coming. And the crazy part is like, I'm just waiting for it to rain. It's crazy. We live in crazy times, man. Where we're going from here, I don't know. I feel we can weave through some of these things. Some of it, I don't think I'll ever make it out of if it happens. If that card's played, which sucks. Scary. But at least I know that I gave it everything I had. Not just ignored it and got blindsided by it. Well, not even blindsided, but just consumed by the wave, the horde, right off the gate. Like, nuh-uh. We have some kind of fighting chance. I suspect, this place is going to go to crap. And it probably is going to it's probably going to unfold quickly. I sit here and I spend a lot of time till I fall asleep some nights, late hours, just thinking, staring out into the stars outside, just thinking, envisioning where this is all going and playing this all out and trying to get a beat on the realities, the probabilities of what could happen, what's next. And if something does go down, like the repercussions of it. our infrastructure getting hit is what comes out of me right now to tell you. So any morning, wake up and it begins. And we see all these glitches all the time. You never know if it's a beta test or you never know what's going on. Down detector just the other day, as I showed you, at one time, all these websites had a blip, like a ton of them, where they all went offline, but they all came back on rather quickly, to where it didn't cause too much of a fuss or even noticed. But anyone watching or paying attention that watches data detector and watches these things notice that it was a big one across the board. Quick, almost like a little beta test check, just to see if, and it was short-lived, but if they wanted to make it long-lived, we're on a world of hurt. They just showed that they can hit them all at the same time for anyone that's paying attention. It did it quick, didn't get much talk, but they got the results. They seen that they could get it, they could affect them all, and then they quickly quit and let everything go back to normal. But they in doing so, they seen just how many places that they could affect. And man, it was a bunch. It was a bunch. Again, I don't see how you're bombing or messing with Iran and Russia at this point. And you don't consider this is not World War III when places are being bombed right now as I speak. Hypersonics, like if a U.S. city was to get hit, what city would it be? All right, let's just take some guesses. All right, I want to see it in the chat. If one was to get hit some way, if it's just one hit, what would be the most strategic for them to hit? Symbolic, economic, like all this, like what area, region? Because I mean, some areas, big enough bomb, they're tightly compact, you could wipe out all kinds of major cities. For instance, if you hit New York City and New Jersey and all that whole area with one big bomb, you could wipe out all of it. You can take out everything. So those are big bombs. What we're seeing dropped on Israel and Iran right now, they're bombs, they're hypersonics, but they're not, and they're devastating. They got a lot of power in them. But they're not like leveling city blocks. Thank you, Deanne, for the coffees and the support. I appreciate it to the fullest. For always being there. Yes, Gary, I'm going to say that's where I lean, is DC, NY. I see a lot of the same thing. NYC, DC. Now, reason being is because NYC just being, symbolic. You got the Statue of Liberty there and everything else, and like getting it being destroyed and all that is very symbolic in the downfall of this country. Plus, New York Stock Exchange, everything else that you've got going on. It's the biggest city on the planet, And look, that's where 9/11 happened. Right? We know that they chose that as a target already. They could go back to the well, so to speak. My thing here is this, though. There's a devil's playground where all the dirty work, the paperwork, all that is. It's like a building 7. That was never hit by a plane and came down out of nowhere. Like there's a city that's like building 7. It's got all the dirty work in it. Where the Pentagon sits. DC. Straight up. If I'm the bad guy, going to pull all this off, if there's one place on the planet that we'll wipe it up. We'll drop a little mini nuke, and we'll make sure no one can go in there for at least the next decade or so. It won't be a high-yield nuke. We'll make sure of that. Won't have no crazy radiation, no blowback to affect them. They got all this down to a science in terms of their bombs. Okay? They could hit DC easy. Easy. Blame it on whoever. and you can't even go into DC to like do nothing for like some time, and like it's wiped out, it's hit, and like we're done, right? Our government would fall back to Cheyenne Mountain. It would be in a closed operation, like no one would know exactly who's where, who's doing what. Everyone would be in the dark. It'd be guesstimation. You wouldn't know where the president is. You would know nothing. Like this whole lifestyle, the whole world, everything that we lived would be over. A thing of the past. It would change in a blink of an eye, just like on 9/11. It's about to happen again, I'm telling you. I can feel it. I can feel it. Something huge is about to happen. How can it not, son? It's what someone's like screaming to me from the other side, like a righteous spirit force, like the Holy Spirit, somebody like screaming to me. Like, how could it not, son? I'm a realist. I look at these real factors involved here, and like the blowback could be extreme. And why would it not be? If you wanted to end the madness, cripple the beast, cripple the great Satanist, they put it. We'll give them that. They would want to bring it to their knees. And from that side of the aisle, take out the fact that we live here. We know how evil they are. We know how corrupt they are. So that's not wrong. I told you before, we come born in the belly of the beast. Problem is, it's we the people that's going to pay the price. Always is. That's what sucks. I just hope you guys have a plan. I know that you guys do. I know that you guys, a lot of you guys implement a plan. Even if it's a small one, it's all you can do. It's something. You got a place to go. Got some bug out bags, the old saying, And if it does hit fan, you know what time it is. My thing is this, is just always remember, man, these days, always have extra gas sitting around. Always have extra gas containers to run generators or whatever, but especially if you got to get somewhere. Because if cyber attacks do go down, there's no guarantee the pumps are going to work. And, the banks ain't going to work, all this other stuff, just like we saw in Iran today, which is, it's like an ominous warning. Like Pompeo said, somewhere in the world's going to see it. Like, who would see it? Like, why would Iran go and attack Ireland if, what good does that do them at this point? They would attack us. Some of us are not stupid, man. It was a veiled, in the open threat. I'm telling you, you may not get any more like it. We're going to get hit. How can you not? How can you not? Okay, Moscow, the high rise, all these drones are attacking, bombing. Tehran's getting bombed. Tel Aviv is getting bombed. If the Mossad is allowing its own cities like that to get hit like this, you don't think that we're not susceptible? Like, something bad's coming, man. So, NYC, DC, watch it. Tsunami bomb would be pretty devastating off the coast, East Coast. Cause a huge tsunami wave. You know how many cities you would take out in one? That's always been a wild card event. It could happen. Haven't talked about it in a long time, but it could happen. Couple tsunami bombs. Let off the coast, right off the shelf, there in shallower waters. It would. They could do it. And when you fold up your money, just like you could see two towers falling, and it was all telegraphed. Okay, that's how occult this is. You can also fold it up, and you can see a tidal wave of water coming up on the city. That has never been fulfilled yet. And it could be symbolic of the next event. I mean, they went out of their way to make sure if they had 9/11 etched in, where every bill you could fold up and it'd be different, coming down at a different level. Like, get out of here. Get out of here. Like, this is such a setup. It's an occult, witchcraft, black magic setup. It is. And all this has huge weight. And remember the window that I told you. If you guys missed it, there is a window this year where 4 heavenly bodies are in retrograde all at the same time, and it begins on 11/11. And it runs like the 28th of November. There's a window. So there's a high window, as I would call it. And I don't know, overlay the satanic calendar and all that other stuff with it and see if you've got any certain week or day that stands out right there in that window. And those should be prime picks of something happening. That's how Blind 11 happened and how it unfolded. This is why they tell you as above, so below. They plan these things charted with what they believe, with heavenly events. And if you're not paying attention to it, you'll never figure your enemy out. All right, so yeah, Denver's another big key backup. Cheyenne Mountain, Denver for sure. Then we go on and on and on for Denver, the underground base in Denver. That will become like the new capital for sure if something catastrophic happens, an attack. It would. We've seen it already shown in the movies. They've already shown us. Man. Good luck. Much love to everybody out there. You just never know when it's going to be the last one. One of these days, it will be. So just much love. God bless. Fight the good fight. And something inside me is burning to try to hold another event. I'm going to do something right now. I'm going to do a poll. Last second poll. If it'll let me. Where's it say polls at? Do a poll here on the way out. All right. I got two options because that's just what it's going to be. If there was going to be a meetup, where people could meet up, just hang out, whatever, just like we did with the knowledge conference, so to speak. But I don't know if it'd be a conference. Where would you want it to be? There's really two options. Like Vegas is out the window. It's just not going to happen this time around. But there's going to be one. Cincinnati and Florida would be the two picks. And I'm just going to leave that poll up there. I know Oklahoma is in the middle of the United States. That is true. But like going off of past polls, I'm taking a lot of things into consideration when saying this and doing this. This is where it's led me. And it came down to these two places, to be honest, in Vegas. But Vegas is out the window. That's why I said it's from past polls, like to update. Like that's not going to happen anytime soon. So we've been always doing it in Cincy. But there's a Florida option on the table there. So I just figured I'd throw it out there because if anything was to ever materialize, like we got to know. Throughout all the years past, I've done it there because that's where I come up. That's where I grew up. And I know I could go back there and we could have another good one. Just trying to put some feelers out there. David says California. I mean, that's why we said Vegas initially, someday. Because I'm not going to make it out there. It takes everything. I'm a poor white boy, man. Like, I appreciate everything that I get in support from you guys and everything else, but we struggle just to get by all the time. And the truth, there isn't a rock star lifestyle. It never has been. It's an attacked lifestyle, censored lifestyle. And I appreciate you guys more than you know. And I know there's good people there, and I want to meet you. I'd love to meet you if we could. Wayne and Payne says Grand Canyon. Twilight says Idaho. I'm just throwing some things out there what people are saying. Wright Patterson is Area 51. No. I've been by Wright Patterson, and I've been to Area 51. Unlike anyone else out there, probably in the chat can even say, I went there. I seen it with my own eyes. I even got the footage here on this channel. Took the mission. Look, West Coast, I would love to, but I'm just not gonna be able to make that right now. I just don't have it in the arsenal. Like, I just don't see how I would be able to pull it off. It's like I'm not flying. First off, it would take me 3 days of driving out there, 3 days of driving back. I mean, it's a freaking week right there, just in driving, just to get out there and back. And I'm down for the right setup circumstances, but again, I'm nowhere in a financial setup to even pull that off. There's like no way. The reason I've always had it in Cincinnati is because I can lean on it. And they're like, I know I've got some friends. Worst case that I need some guys helping me work the door, run security and all that. They've always been there, just to be there. And I could lean on it. It's always worked. It's always been good. It's always been solid. That's why Cincinnati's always been the go-to. It's just worked. It's worked every time. It works. It's just been good. It's been good. 50-50, I know. Isn't that crazy? I see Savannah, Georgia. I see all these people throwing other stuff out there. Again, I don't have people to pull on if I went to Savannah. I just don't. I don't have people I grew up with, and I know Cincinnati is Cincinnati because that's where I grew up. And there's people I know, buddies. I call up and be like, hey, come help me, and they will do it. I don't have that in all these other places. So that's why Cincinnati's on the map. Florida is like probably, like the second home type place behind Kentucky for me, or Cincinnati, Northern Kentucky. So, what about when it hits the fan, Dabu? Wow, did you miss this whole stream? Everything I've talked about? Hit rewind. Colorado Springs, Steve says. Yeah. I gotta say, I give it to all you guys that survive in the mountains in Colorado, because it's the mountains that I wouldn't want to, because it's a different animal. I'm at like, between 1,500, 2,000 feet. Some of these peaks get up to like 4,000 feet down here. In the Appalachian Mountains, and some higher than that, but on average. But when you get out to the Rockies, you're talking 10, 12, 14,000, something crazy feet. Like, it gets arid up there. And it's just different. The winters are harsh. I just don't know how you guys do it. It's rough, man. And look, that's all. I'm thinking off grid. Okay, maybe you're like, oh, well, we've lived here fine for all of our lives. Well, and I'm sure that you're on the grid, right? And when I'm doing all my thinking here, I'm thinking off grid. And laws and things like that. Like, what's the laws there in Colorado? Can you catch water? Would that be an issue? Because it's all this crap in all these different places. What's the laws with solar? You get it asked this with every single place. I don't know. I guess your area better than any other. So, yeah, everywhere's different out there. It's a good thing about the United States. There's options. There are different states, and you don't have to go too far for those options. So that brings me to a close for tonight, man. I'm gonna wow. Okay, thank you for all the comments, everybody's feedback and reply. Like, no one wants to be Are you kidding me? Like, no one wants to be the deal breaker. I mean, 130 votes here. We are 50-50 tied. I haven't even seen it leave that. I've seen it stay tied at 50-50 the entire time. That's crazy. Try to run a poll to get some results, and it's like, you know what I'm saying? But as I always say, and I'll end the poll and I'll give some shout outs here. Maybe a winner will pop up here as we're rolling out. But if the Lord doesn't return in the coming days, I'll see you here next time for some Underground World News Live. Much love. God bless. Oh, and Cincinnati takes the lead, breaks the tie. Much love. God bless. Much love, South Mode. Much love to the legendary Eon. Thank you so much, man. And everybody, Deanne, Drunken Down, John, Lulu, Boom. Much love all. Much love, Nate. Looks like Cincinnati wins the poll. Much love. Much love. Thank you, Lake Blue. Welcome to the underground, everyone. Much love, God.